right, Dread.
What's up?
Hey, doing good, man. How you doing?
Chilling, blessings, bless up, man.
Man, that's what it is, man. Well, for the people who might not know who you are, can you kind of give them a little introduction about who you are and what you do?
Everybody call me Dread. I'm a bodyguard. Bodyguard stars, celebrities, high risk clients, you know what I mean, in and out of the country. I get the job done, you know what I mean? But yeah.
Okay, and let's kind of take it back a little bit for everybody and kind of let them get to know you a little bit better. Where'd you grow up at, and where you from?
From St. Thomas, U.S. Virgin Islands, born and raised. It's a little below Florida, right next to Puerto Rico. We neighbors. But yeah, U.S. Virgin Islands. Same place Tim Duncan from, Aliyah, Boston. You know what I mean?
And what was it like for you growing up there?
Um, it was rugged. You know what I mean? It was street. Coming up in the islands. As a kid, my dad, he was he's a dope boy. You know what I mean? Big time dope boy back in the islands. So a lot of, I got a lot of brothers. I got like 8 brothers, 5 sisters. So we had a lot of respect from our dad. He ran the island. You know what I mean? And he died. He got killed. And after that, I turned to the streets. You know what I mean? I came up through the streets.
What age did he get killed at?
I was 8 years old when my dad died.
8 years old, man. And were you and your dad close?
Not close, but I always cherish the moments when we came, anytime he came around, you know what I mean? He was a star, so, you know what I mean? It was golden, it was always golden, you know what I mean? It wasn't hard to tell who he was, and the lifestyle he was living, you know what I mean?
How did your life change after he passed away?
It went left, man. I turned into a whole different person. You know what I mean? I was a good kid in school. My neighbors, yo, you know what I mean? It was like in conspiracy with the situation with my dad when he died. So, my life changed that night because my mom came in the room crying and the neighbors were celebrating that shit, yo. And I seen it. I was a kid. I didn't fully understand, registered what was happening, but I remembered, you know what I mean? And from that day, I just, I was angry. And I just, you know what I mean? I started running in the streets, you know what I mean? Ran with a lot of soldiers and, adopted to the street culture, you know what I mean?
Damn. Okay. And what was high school like for you?
No high school. I made it junior high, and I was in the streets.
Okay, so you're in junior high, and you decide to drop out,
I got in a fight. Yeah, I got in a big fight. After my dad died, it wasn't the same. So, from 12 years old, I was going to the youth camp. I had a youth camp in St. Croix, U.S. Virgin Islands. That's next part of the Virgin Islands. So from 12 years old, I was acting up. I was what they call it in a system, a child in need of supervision. So they take you through the steps, through the system, the boys' home, the youth jail, a psych evaluation test, trying to see if you're crazy and stuff. But I was just straight up, angry at the fact of my dad. So, you know what I mean? I just lost regards to a lot of stuff, you know what I mean?
Now, being in the streets and doing all this and getting in trouble, did you ever get arrested for anything?
Yeah, been in and out. When I was 19, I got locked up for first-degree murder. Yeah, I got locked up for first-degree murder. I think I stayed in jail for 2 years. I got acquitted. I went to trial. I got acquitted. I came back out.
What was that like, man? You're in jail 2 years. I mean, if you get convicted, you're probably doing at least 20 years, maybe life. I don't know what the laws are over there.
It was crazy because my dad, right? He got killed. You know, his killing. It was crazy. Like he got killed with two other his friends. So it was the first drive-by shooting in the Virgin Islands and triple homicide. You know what I mean? So he died November 15th, 1990. And when I got locked up November 15th, 2001. So it was like, you know what I mean? It was like it was like his anniversary when he passed, when I got locked up for first degree murder. So it was weird, you know. It had me like zoned out, like, you know, what does this mean? You know what I mean? But you know, I sat tight, you know what I mean? And you know, I went to trial, I got acquitted, I came back out.
Well, you beat this case, very serious case. Now, when you get out of jail, are you right back in the streets, or are you trying to go straight at this time?
I was in and out. I was in between, like, you know, because when you're in jail, you experience certain shit, and not like, you know, nobody never tests my line in jail. But I'm just saying, like, you see people that say they're real or, you know, who they're supposed to be, don't play their parts. You know what I mean? So, like, being in jail is almost like being dead, but you're alive. You can't reach out, but you're watching, you know, people do, you know, flaw shit. You know what I mean? Money orders. All right, I'm coming to visit you. You don't see them. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. So, you know, stuff like that, it kind of wised me up then. You know what I mean? But I was still, you know, a part of the streets.
Okay, and now at what point do you get into bodyguarding?
I was always the homie. Like, when I was growing up around my peers, like I tell you, I was going to youth camp, so I always come out cut up, you know, six-pack, you know what I mean? I would look more average than a regular teenager because I'm going to the youth jail, you know what I mean? So I was always, you know, the muscle coming up as a kid, you know what I mean? I got stabbed one time, my belly, 32 staples. I survived that. I got cut artery in my belly. I think when I was 18, I got my first shot. I got shot in my leg. You know what I mean? When I came out of jail.
Can you take me through one of those? Which story was the wildest story? Can you take me through it?
Being shot?
Yeah.
In my entire time, I've been shot 11 times. The weirdest one was when I got shot 9 times. Yeah.
Wow.
I got shot 9 times at one time. But this is in the Virgin Islands, you know what I mean?
What kind of gun was it?
Either a 9 or a 380, I think it was. Yeah, either or.
Can you walk me through what happened?
Me and this cat, we was gambling, and I throwed out dice off of a kid. You know, RP is my guy, is my boy, Sam, his sister. We throw dice off the foot. You know when you throw dice and it hits off somebody's foot, there's no dice. And I guess old boy was losing, so, you know, he picked up the money, and I was like, "There's no dice." And he was like, "It's dice." And, you know, we started getting a confrontation because there wasn't no dice. If you're not in the game, it's no dice. And, you know, we started going back and forth, and I was like, "Yo, let me get my money." And he wouldn't, you know, give up my money. So I had a pistol up the street. I went and got my pistol, came back. I drew down on him. You know, I robbed him, took everything. But just being young and wild and ignorant, I wasn't from the neighborhood. So I was like stuck in the neighborhood, you know what I mean? And I couldn't get out. Back then, like, we had like phones, but not really. I wasn't into phones. Like, if I needed my niggas, I know how to find them. So I ain't even had no phone to call in for some help. So I was out there. You know, old boy came back. I wasn't thinking straight, though. My one dude, rest in peace. You know, as I tell stories, a lot of my people, they rest in peace that raised me. He brought him there to negotiate, and I dropped my guards. I was acting like he ain't had a gun, and I was supposed to know that he had a gun on him. You know what I mean? So we got into talking back and forth, you know, and I was telling him, like, you know, you fucked up, and, you know, I told you give me my money, and, you know what I mean? The last time I told him I was smoking a joint, I told him, I said, "Man, you, buy a gun," you know what I mean? And when I turned my head to smoke my joint, he started to shoot me. You know what I mean? So I think I got the first 3-4 shots in my belly. And I got up, I turned to the side, I took some more shots. I took like 3 shots to the hand, and I drew my pistol, and we got in a splash. But I'm right-handed, so my right hand was broken. It was one bone was broken, one bone was shattered. So I was firing with my left hand, and I couldn't get him because I'm not left-handed. So my hand is. You know what I mean? And at that point, when me and him is going back and forth, I was done hit up 9 times. So I was just like, not knowing where I was heading after that. So I was like, we gonna go to the gusto. You know what I mean? And it had a funny moment in it. You know what I mean? Cause when old boy see me rose up and then we was going in there, he opened his eyes wide. Cause he was in disbelief. Like, I just pumped this nigga 9 shots. Like, fuck, is he still moving? You know what I mean? So, the cops was coming. Everybody had to go different directions. My dude, rest in peace, Papa Slim, he drove me to the hospital. 9 shots, you know what I mean? I walk in there like a general, you know what I mean? He told me, I had this stuff. I gave it to him because I was like, I'm not dying with no money and chains in my pocket and stuff. So I gave my boy the stuff, and I walked in the hospital because I've been there before. Like I told you, I've been shot. So I walked up in there, held my hand, and they checked me and they took care of me. I ended up with a steel rod and like 12 screws in my hand. Same hand I used for a shield. But sometimes in life it's about sacrifices. So I'd rather my hand than my lungs or my kidney or heart, you know what I mean? So, that's how that story went.
Damn. Did you go into a coma or anything, or how long were you in the hospital?
Nah, I stayed in there and then I checked myself out, because I wanted to get at homeboy, so I checked myself out of the hospital. You know what I mean? They was begging me, my mom, they cussing me, but, I wanted to do because, like, yo, I just survived 9 shots. You know what I mean? So I checked out, and I didn't stay in there long, though. You know what I mean? But I was mashed up in there. I had to train my hand back. My hand, one bone was broke, one bone was shattered. So I had 12 screws and a steel rod in my hand. So, that's when you rebuild. You know what I mean? Got to teach my hand how to flex. You know what I mean? So just being through youth camp and through struggles and pain, that's what drives me to be a bodyguard, because, like, I was always in the front line. I was always a big brother. Sometimes I was a young guy, but I fight OGs, like, because like I told you, I was going to youth camp, so I was coming out, you know what I mean, real cut up and, a lot of definition. So it was like a thing, man, to always defend, you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely, man. Man, that's a 9 shots is a lot, man.
Yeah.
At what point do you eventually move to the United
America.
States, or the state?
I think it was 2005. I had a brother up there. He died. You know what I mean? And it caused me to relocate it to, the mainland, in search for the person that did it to my brother. He died in a club in not California, excuse me. He died in a club in Atlanta, Georgia. So that what brought me to Atlanta, Georgia.
Okay, so you move out to Atlanta, and what are you doing for work at this time?
We was grinding. Yeah, I was grinding. I was in the streets, you know what I mean? I was grinding. We took some blows at one time, man. Sometimes the hustle go up and down. And I pulled out of it because I was messing with I met a chick, so I was messing with her, and I pulled out the game, and I went into corporate America. You know what I mean? I went, got my gun license. I started doing classes, sharpshooting class. The state wanted a 240. I got 238. I got 96. I was certified. I'm certified for a Glock 22. That's a 40 caliber. I did the legal bodyguarding class. I had a concealed weapon license, so I could wear my weapons out. And in Georgia, I could wear my firearms out. You know what I mean? I pump gas, cops, hey, what's up? How you doing? You know what I mean? So I went and got my certifications, and I was in and out of clubs, based on the training from home, from the streets. I was in and out of clubs. And then one day, I was on Craigslist. Yeah, I was on Craigslist, and it said, unbelievable opportunity. If you could travel out of town and possess a firearm, call now. So it was All-Star Weekend in Orlando. And, I put one on one together. I already know that was like somebody wanted some muscle. You know what I mean? So I called the job, and old boy pick up. Shout out my guy, Big J. He brought me into the industry. I called him. He was like, he's meeting somebody. He's 45 minutes away from me. And I was like, yo, I got the concealed weapon license. I got the sharpshooting license. I got the legal bodyguarding license. And I'm experienced. And you know what I mean? And he's like, yeah, you got copies? I was like, yeah, I got it. And then hanged up, and he called back 5 minutes after. He's like, yo, I'm on the way to you. So we sat down by Waffle House. It was crazy because he had on a lot of 8732, but, my mind was somewhere else, you know what I mean? And we did the interview. He's like, he got the job. So I was like, cool. I'll say, who I'll be working for. And it was Young Jeezy. He was like, Young Jeezy. You know what I mean? So that's when the bodyguard and, it went to a next level. You know what I mean?
Okay, you start working for Jeezy, and what year is this?
This is 2012.
2012.
Yeah.
Okay. So you go to All-Star Weekend in Orlando.
I didn't make that. They went without me, but I jumped on a tour the following week. Yeah, it had a tour, I think March 3rd or something, and CTE World or something tour, and I jumped on that tour. That was my first tour with him. So I didn't go to All-Star. I guess whoever security it was using, it was going to use them one last time and then, get rid of them. I don't know what happened, but they did the Orlando All-Star Weekend, and when they came back, we jumped on the tour. Yeah, went on the tour.
And what's that like?
It was beautiful because it's I'm with Young Jeezy, you know what I mean? Everybody like him, they like his music. So at the time I liked his music too. When I first came to America, my brother picked me up, my older brother picked me up. He was playing a Jeezy album, Can Ban and Snowman. So, we had songs that we like, from Jeezy. So it was dope actually being around him, you know what I mean? And then what was more dope about it, it's not fun, but being in competition is cool sometimes because you see who succeeds, through, whatever the task is. When I got hired, I had 2 other bodyguards. At the main, it was 4 of us, but Big J is the one in charge, so I had 3 new bodyguards. And it was the position is for one person. So you had 30 days to show, you know what I mean, what you're working with, you know what I mean? So we went on tour, and it was dope, you know what I mean? He came around, he liked my vibe, you know what I mean? I'm from the island, so I'm not speaking to too much people. I don't know nobody, you know what I mean? I just know the client and, the entourage or, the people for the business. So I just stayed close. Nothing major took place, but it was a progressive tour, though. You know what I mean? Nothing ain't happened, you know what I mean? And then, at the end of the tour, I end up being the one getting picked. The other guys stayed there for a while, but, in the end, I was one of the last guys there from that run.
When was the first time that you had to get aggressive with somebody while working with Jeezy?
The first time was the 2012 BET Awards.
So in February 2014, Rick Ross and Jeezy, they kind of got this beef kind of going, but I don't think it was that serious at the time. But it was over the BMF song, right? The Rick Ross did. That's kind of where it stemmed from.
I mean, I wasn't sure. I can't call it, but I read rap books a lot. XXL Source. So it was some type of beef. I didn't know, you know what I mean? But I knew enough that my client is not messing with him. You know what I mean? So I knew that much. But, the ins and out of it, nah, they ain't know.
Okay. So you guys are preparing to go to the BET Awards. Now, are you guys on high alert because Rick Ross is going to be there?
Nah, it was a regular day. You know what I mean? He had 4 securities. his manager, camera guy, I think like 1, 2 of his entourage or whatever. Yeah, so it was chill, you know what I mean?
Okay, you guys arrive there, and eventually you guys come face to face with Rick Ross, man. Can you kind of take me through what happened?
It was weird. I don't know, like, I don't know if hip hop is staged, because after Jeezy performed, and when we was leaving, Rick Ross was coming. We was backstage. So I already knew, you know, it's some type of situation. I didn't know how deep it was. So we was walking, and they stopped. And Jeezy was like, "What's up?" And Rose was like, "What's up?" And Jeezy's like, "What's up?" And like, I'm in the middle, you know what I mean? I'm watching, you know, I'm defense, I'm the front line guy. I'm the guy, you know, I take charge. This is where I come in. But, you know, Ross was like, "What's up?" And then Jeezy was like, "Nigga, you know what's up." So when I heard that, you know, the tone changed. You know, I get in gear, you know what I mean? Because the way Jeezy said it, you know what I mean? Like, the pot is boiling over. It's too much what's ups going back and forth. Somebody gonna strike. And Rick Ross took a deep breath and he stepped up. You know what I mean? But like I said, I was in the middle, you know what I mean? And when he stepped up, I snatched his chains off his neck. You know what I mean? They had a little video from the hallway with it. You know what I mean? You couldn't see clear, but it was a little ruction in the hallway there. It happened so fast, though. His bodyguard ain't even had time to, like, you know, defend him. I'm sure that guy lost his job because it was, you know, it was like, you know, some Bruce Lee shit. Like, you know what I mean?
Okay, so Rick Ross has said that he tried to choke Jeezy. Did he ever get his hands on Jeezy at all?
Well, I won't shoot him down and say he didn't get his hands up to do it, but he did step up, though. I don't know what he was going to do, but he had to go through me. So, you know what I mean? He had to go through me. And, I stopped that, you know what I mean? So I won't call it and say I won't say, you know, he wasn't going to do anything, but, you know what I mean? He did take a deep breath and stepped up, you know what I mean? But he stepped into me, you know what I mean? So.
Okay, so he steps into you, you grab his chains, and what happens next? Do the entourage start fighting? Do any fists start flying or anything?
It happened too fast. By the time they regrouped, it was, you know, it had cops in the hallway, though. The cops wasn't with us, but it had, you know, it's a BET Awards, you know what I mean? It's just a level of security in the hallways, bodyguards, you know what I mean? It's crowd control, fire department, you know what I mean? Just in case the place is overcapacitated. But, it happened too quick. It happened too quick. You know what I mean? It happened too quick. Rick Ross, he turned around and he walked away. I'm telling you, I'm sure his bodyguard got fired for that shit. By the time I touched him, like, it was over.
So you grab his chains,
yeah.
And now everybody's being separated. Do you still have his chains?
To this day?
Well, no.
No, you mean
point.
I had them. Yeah, I had them. I put them in. I had a break in the jacket. I never. If you watch the video, right, and you in the middle of the video, you hear the mirror broke. That's me behind the mirror because I tripped up behind the little security dude in the hallway because I was trying to put the chains inside the blazer. I never wore a blazer before, so I didn't know you gotta break in the pockets, like, you know what I mean? So I was there trying to put the chains in because I was like, yo, this shit is worth a lot of money, like, you know what I mean? Cops in the hallway, I didn't want them things. So yes, I had the chains.
Now, is that the only issue you guys have and you guys leave?
It kind of blew out of proportion because when we left, then 50 and Gunplay got into it. So the Rick Ross happened, then the Gunplay happened. So I went to the vehicle to get the because I'm like, yo, I just juck Rick Ross chains. Like, you know what I mean? These are millionaire cats, dog. Like, you know what I mean? So I got the Escalade and I pulled up, but I pulled up hella aggressive. So if you go back, I remember Funkmaster Flex, he was wrong. He was like, shots fired, you know, gunman arrested. It was me, they arrested me. You know, I pull up hella aggressive, but you know, shit is cracking, you know what I mean? So I pull up and Atlanta PD drew down on me, yo. It was crazy. Freeze! And I got on a blaze. I got on the blazer, the suit. I got the whole suit, top to bottom, the earpiece, the walkie-talkie. So I'm like, what's wrong with you guys? I'm a bodyguard, you know what I mean? And, you know, they came, they find the pistols, they called backup, they handcuffed me. All then I got to see it because they had me handcuffed. I was on the wall. I never forgot. Mike Epps ran out afterwards. Well, he said they fighting like he missed it. He was like, I missed it. But I seen when Gunplay was walking, and I mean, he ain't back down. He walked up to 50. Like, I guess he knew what it was, but the entourage enclosed him and they whooped him. But I was there handcuffed. Yeah, I was handcuffed sitting on the side, and I seen when they church out Gunplay. I seen that.
So Gunplay ran up on 50. Did he hit 50?
No, he ain't ran
anybody?
out. But as it was closing in, like, he had an option to take off running. But I'm just saying he didn't take off running. He just keep coming. And when they got a certain length, distance between each other, they locked up.
I was waiting to get out, and the police won't let me out. And I had a thing behind me. I could either jump that and run into the darkness like a coward, or we could just run it right here. So Mike Knox, I think that's his name, big guy. He threw a punch. I threw a punch. Then.
So from the video, they all kind of jump on you.
Yeah.
And then it gets broken up.
Yeah, then it get broken up.
And then
the pepper spray broke everybody up, and then it was my turn.
But before that happens, you go after somebody.
Yeah, then I jumped on one of them. I think it was Mike Knox again, and I wish I had my shank on me. Then I was already going out with a bang, and I said, nah, don't take the shank, dog. Don't add no extra charges, dog. But if I would have brought that, I would have jabbed him right in his armpit right there. Nah, let me take that back because they gonna persecute me again, dogs. Gunplay says he's gonna stab Mike Knox. Nah. But I just try to get some get back.
You know what I mean? The crowd came down on him. They whooped the out of Gunplay. You know what I mean? So he had a chance to get out of there, but, I guess he faced the music. You know what I mean? But I was there handcuffed. They held me for like 4 hours. They put me in the back of a car. It was so much confusion because they thought I was Gunplay. They was like, you was Gunplay. You from Miami. You don't belong having a firearm. I'm like, yo, I'm from the Virgin Islands. What are you talking about? You know what I mean? So me and the sergeant, we was going back and forth. It was like, take him downtown. But Jeezy them already sent his manager, so she was like, yo, the bail bond man is down there waiting for you. You ain't got to worry about nothing. So I was like, yo, hurry up and take me. So they held me. They took the weapons. After like 4 hours, had me in the back of the car. They let me go because they had nothing on me. But they took the pistols. Yeah. I mean, it wasn't nothing to get more pistols, but at the venue, they took the pistols because I had the Escalade. I was driving the Escalade for the security. And, everybody pistols inside the truck. So we had to go regroup, get more pistols. And, we left.
At this point in time, do you still have the change or did the cops take the chains?
Nah, they never got the chains. They gave it back. I told them it was mine. You know what I mean? I told them it busted. So, it was in my possession. So it was in my hands. It was in my jacket. So they couldn't take it. It was weird, though. Four chains was fake and one was real. Because I had a debate with Jeezy at the end of the night. He was like, they high-priced costume jewelry from Houston. And because it was black diamonds, canary diamonds, like, yo, it was some dope. I was going to, sell it and go buy a house because I'm just saying, it just came off of Rick Ross' neck. The only thing was real was a diamond-cut ropey chain. Yeah, it was a diamond cut. I know jewelry, I like to wear gold. We wear gold in the islands, so I know gold when I see it. And we had a little debate. Me and Jeezy's like, they're all fake. I was like, nah, the ropey, the diamond cut ropey is real. And it turned out to be real for real. Because the next day, my brother, the older brother, we went to Cash for Jewelry. And we sold it. They gave us like, I think, $3,300 for it. It wasn't a big chain, but it gave us $3,300 for it. And I went across the street and remember the AK-47? I went and bought an AK-47 for $5.99. Came with 2 clips, 50-round clips. I went across the street immediately, bought that because I didn't know where I stand. Like, and when I say that, I mean I just juck chains from Rick Ross. I need to arm myself. You know what I mean? So that's why I went and I bought the AK. You know what I mean?
So you pawn his jewelry, you sell it, and then you go buy this AK.
Yes.
And are you expecting some beef from Rick Ross at this time?
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. You better believe it. You know what I mean? Nothing kicked off, but we had moments though. I think it had a video one time, Rick Ross, and it was funny because Jeezy was like, Dread, you seen that video? I said, what video? They said Rick Ross put out a video, say he was gonna choke Jeezy. So I seen the video. So I was like, yo, let me go and World Star whatever and tell the story, what actually happened. And they was like, nah, you know, charges might get pressed. And I'm like, charges? Like, you know, Rick Ross a gangster rapper. He ain't gonna press no charges, you know what I mean? But I set the record straight. This is when he was like, whoever the big black dude is with the bumps, you need to give him something special. But what was crazy about that, and Rick Ross brought it back up. It happened. You understand? It happened. Who was there in the hallway knew what happened. Nobody outside happened. So when Rick Ross did that interview, you know, I was kind of shocked because he's kind of shouting me out. He was like, yo, whoever the big black dude is with the bumps in the face, you need to give him something special for Christmas. You know what I mean? So that was the opponent telling Jeezy, you know, as we fast forward to the, you know, other side of the story, he was telling him to take care of me. You know what I mean?
Now, I believe there was another incident in New York where you got into it with a guy named Torch from MMG.
Yeah, I got in with Torch. Like, I'm a street cat, but I'm still corporate. So when it comes to like beef, I think street. So we got in there with the boss. You gotta watch out for their foot soldiers. You know what I mean? Torch, he came over and he was like, let me holler at Jeezy. And I was like, nah, you can't holler at Jeezy. And, you know, he told me, I think he told me or some shit. And I was like, me, yo, and I got in his ass. Yeah, I got him. I whooped him. I picked him up, I slammed him out. I whooped the hell out of him. You know what I mean? But at the same time, I was solidifying my position as a bodyguard. This is what I do. You know what I mean? This all day, every day. This is what I do. City to city, town to town. You know what I mean? Island to America. This is what I do. So, you know, you know what I mean? So he stepped up and I crushed him.
Okay, and about 2 years later, T.I. gets them to squash the beef. Were you around for that?
They did it behind that, but before the beef got squashed, it was weird. Cause I had a cat, shout out my nigga Scargio. He knew he was tight with somebody from around Rick Ross camp. So he was talking, you know, they was elaborating. And then one of my dad friends used to do bodyguarding in Orlando for Rick Ross when he comes to Orlando. And one day he called me. So I'm not gonna like put Rose out there like he's simple or he ain't nobody. Like they did try to come at me. You know what I mean? Let me put that out there. They did try to come at me, but it had good parties. And I mean, he asked my dad friend about me, and my dad friend, you know, he told him I'm a soldier, and my dad, you know, he was that nigga. So it was kind of like a balance. We gonna talk about the T.I. stuff, but I just want to let it be known, like, you know what I mean? I didn't just chief off Rick Ross. Like, you know, they try to come at me. They was running my name. He actually asked my dad friend my government name. You know what I mean? Yeah, you know what I mean? And afterwards, he called me. He was like, yo, you need to check yourself because these guys are inquiring heavy about you. You know what I mean? So I'm not going to, you know what I mean? I'm not going to act like Rose. He wasn't checking in. And then one time we was in New York. I never forget this night. What was magical about it, because it was a club. It's kind of like in the hood. I don't remember it because New York clubs are different. They be, you know, in the buildings but it's different. But I don't know if it was in the Bronx somewhere. But it's one club, I forgot the name. It's famous because it had mad hip hop cops out there, hip hop police out there. And we come to the venue, all Def Jam and Atlantic Records. I think at the time Jeezy's VP for Atlantic Records. So sometimes the people from the office, they like to hang out with us. You know what I mean? So we chilling. And the mic man came on. He was like, Rick Ross is in the building, Rose. So I was like, you know what I mean? It's action. Because, you know what I mean? It's a situation. You know what happened at the BET Awards. So we was there, and the officials from the companies, the labels, they was easing out of the VIP. It was funny as hell, you know what I mean? Because they up there, you know, I ride for my nigga dog. They were that tough shit. But now when Rose came inside the venue and he was facing at us, yo, they all came out till it boiled down. It was me, Jeezy, the camera guy, and his manager. You know, I got established with Jeezy where he used to more take me. Big J left, and he went, I think he went to Birdman or something. But I came the main security. So everywhere we went, I was right next to Jeezy. I never forget them. They're from some island, either Haitian or Jamaican. And they came over. Jeezy told me, he's like, yo, watch them niggas dread, but I seen them. You know what I mean? Because I peep game. You know, I got that street nigga eye. And I peep game. They came over. They had dreads. And they was like, they want to holler at Jeezy. And I was like, you know, we ain't doing that tonight. Jeezy ain't hollering at nobody. And it was like, yo, you know, but they came from over by Rick Ross. You know what I mean? Yeah, I meant to tell you that. They came from over with Rick. They came there with Rick Ross. But they came to test our water. You know what I mean? And, you know, I stood up, I hold on the foundation. I was like, we ain't doing that today. And he was like, yo, let Jeezy know we some real niggas. You know what I mean? And I was like, yo, we some real niggas too. You know what I mean? But it was cool. It was like there was some New York cats, though, but they was blended, though. They had island in them. Because, you know, I'm from the island, so I can tell, you know, when people, you know, they look like they living in America, or maybe their dad's Jamaican and their mom American, but, you know what I mean? But nothing they happened after that. Before they talked, I guess T.I. recommended it. We came in, our rest in peace Rick Ross boy too, the old school dude that used to be with him. We came in for some reason. I think both came from Miami, and we was in the waiting area for our cars. And Rick Ross and Jeezy, that's when they started talking. You know what I mean? I don't know what led that, like not for them being there, but for them to talk. I guess Jeezy bossed up and like, yo, we need to, you know what I mean? And they talk. So with whatever Tip did, I'm not sure I was there because a lot of time we've been around Tips on a lot of things. Sometimes when they talk in personal conversations, I'm not always around. But at the airport is the first time when I seen them squash it.
Okay, and now that they've squashed it, you know, are you kind of like a little bit more, you know, chilled out a little bit now that it's kind of squashed?
Yeah, but at the same time, I still got my third eye open. You know what I mean? Because he squashed it with Jeezy. That's Jeezy. That's not me. You know what I mean? Jeezy never put his hand on him. You know what I mean? But maybe, like, in the end, you know, as the story going, I'll tell you, in the end, I end up gaining some respect for Ross because of some, you know, first thing was when he was like, that was a shout out, you know, give me something special for Christmas. That was one. And then as we go down in the story, I'll tell you again. But it was in between. I always, you know what I mean? I was there when they did the War Ready video. That was weird. I was strapped like a motherfucker, though. But we did that in Louisiana in a warehouse, abandoned warehouse. So they was shooting off rounds, but, you know, it was blanks. You know what I mean? But I'm just saying, being around the nature, you know, he got his crew. You know what I mean? We got our crew. But, you know, it played out, though. It wasn't no vibe or anything, but it was an odd moment. You know what I mean? Because I see people watching me, and I know they probably told him, like, or he told him, like, hey, you know what I mean? I'm just saying, we from the streets. When shit happened to us and we come out or we see opponents, we put our people on it. You know what I mean? So, you know, it was cool, though. Ain't nothing popped off. But I was geared up, though. That's why I do, like I said, you know, any city, any town. I'm geared up. You know what I mean?
I hear that, man. So, yeah, so they do shoot that music video, and
Yes.
everything goes over smooth,
Yeah.
and so T.I. steps in, helps him squash it, man, and things are kind of cooled off for a little bit, man. But in 2014, you guys end up at a Wiz Khalifa concert in Northern California.
Shout out Wiz Khalifa too. Real people. That's my guy. T.Y. Dollar Sign, all of them. We was on tour. It was under the Influence tour. Yes. And before that, I took Jeezy home. I don't know if you got to see that video. When him and Future shot a video, I took Jeezy them home to shoot a video in the Virgin Islands before that tour. So I took him home. He got a piece of where I'm from. He's seen, you know what I mean? This is not an act. You know what I mean? He see how the street is reacting. Yes, he's a star, but, look who brought him home. Somebody who was in the streets. I was told I was never going to be nothing. You know what I mean? So it was like standing ovation to come back home to the islands with Future and Jeezy as a legal bodyguard. You know what I mean? So I was like at home and at work, at vacation at the same time. And then when we left after the video, you had to do a show down there too. Had some situation with a show, but we took care of it. We stayed down there like a week. We shot the video, tell them they ain't got nothing to worry about. I'm from here. And then when we took off, we jumped on the tour. When we went, so we went on a tour.
Okay, and you end up in Northern California.
It actually, no, I didn't make it to, you talking about when they got locked up. It actually started like this. The tour was going beautiful. We was in the Bay. Yes, we was in the Bay. And the venue was wild. I would never forget it because the venue, it had people jumping the fence. And we didn't have too much pull in San Francisco. So when we go in cities like that where we don't have much people out there outside or it's a small group of us, we stay together. Go bathroom, everybody use the bathroom, everybody eat, whatever, back to the bus. We stay together. But when we was around the bus, it had like 5, 6, 8 people, 10 people jumping over the fence. And it was like, yo, we were Wiz Khalifa. Yo, we were Jeezy. I'm telling the security like, yo, I don't know them guys. So the venue was wild. This is when the whole crazy shit started. So we in San Francisco. Thing we call it. When we down there, the promoter comes. I was the guy. Rest in peace to him too. I don't know what he had going on. I was going to the room to get something. I think food or something. But I got on the logo and stuff, and I got the merch on. So, dude, rest in peace, because he got killed. We ain't had nothing to do with that. Nobody from our camp, nobody from the tour had nothing to do with that. I think it was a breach in security with all these people jumping the fence. Old boy tapped me in the shoulder, and he was like, "I'm with you." I was like, "What's up?" He was like, "I'm with you." I was like, "What you mean you with us?" He was like, "I'm the after club promoter." But when he was talking to me, he was looking around like he was ghosted out. So that's not my department. I don't collect money or, you know what I mean? I just defend if I got to make a pickup, whatever. So I hit the manager, my guy Stone. I was like, yo, Stone, the manager here. The dude for the after party is here. And then when we turn around, old boy was gone. Don't know what happened there. We went, we hanged around. Jeezy did his show, his part of his show. And then he jumped in the lift and he went somewhere. I thought I was going with him, and the manager told me to stand down. He's going to the room or whatever. So we left and go to the room. We stayed on the bus. And I never forget it. I just seen my guy, David, the camera guy, yesterday. He was Jeezy's camera guy at the time. And Wiz Khalifa had an effect. It busts out, I guess it sprinkled out like stuff, but it sounds like a gun. Like boom, boom, boom. And the camera guy was on the tour bus chilling. Like I tell you, when we some places that we're not strong, got a lot of people, we stay together. Jeezy left, everybody's on the bus. The camera guy was like, that's gunshots. And we started laughing, we was like, nah, it's not no gunshots, And then like probably 15, 20 minutes after, you heard some gunshots. So I was like, yo, those are gunshots. I came out the tour bus. You know, I'm the head of security. I'm in charge of the bus. I came out of the tour bus and I seen old boy in front of a truck, like lean over dead. So I was like, yo, the bus is shut down. Everybody back in the bus. We shut down the bus. The cops came. They held us up for like, I think like 9-10 hours. You know what I mean? I had some handguns. I had an AK-47 on the bus. But, you know, I declared them. They was out of pocket, too, because they asked me because I break down my guns. If a gun is broken down, it's not a gun. You know what I mean? So I always keep my guns broken down. You know what I mean? I had the AK here, had the clips over there in a box, the handgun here, the clips over here in a box. So they asked for the keys. They opened the box. They seen it. They cleared the firearms because they wasn't fired. You know what I mean? They held us up. We missed the show in San Diego. So we go to Los Angeles and Saturday.
Okay, hold on real quick. During this time, though, Jeezy is actually accused of being the killer.
Yeah, there was, people was talking bullshit, but nah, Jeezy left. So it was impossible, you know what I mean?
Right. I know he didn't do it. I'm just putting the full story
Yeah, the
out
place,
there,
they was tripping. First they was saying it's a security. They had an argument over money, you know what I mean? And that was some bullshit like, nah, you know what I mean? Whatever he had going on there, something wasn't right. Because like I told you, I seen him, and when he tapped me, he's like, I'm with you. I'm like, all right, cool. After party promoter, I was like, cool. And he was looking around. I don't know what the hell he had going on. And you know.
And so that happens, and they actually at some point sue Jeezy.
I'm not sure. Because I think they was trying to sue him, but I'm not sure. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? I'm not sure because you was hearing stuff, but you know, I wasn't sure about it. You know what I mean? So the whole situation was crazy because somebody lost their life, you know what I mean? And I'm just being honest because I lost 2 brothers and my dad to gun violence. You know what I mean? So you know, getting shot and killed or just as death, you know what I mean? Death is no joke, man. You know what I mean? But yeah, he had nothing to do with that.
For sure, man. I agree, man. But the next day, you guys take off to LA.
To LA, yep, the next morning. And
what happens when you guys get to LA?
It was a debate going there because he had the Seen It All album coming out. Yeah, he had the Seen It All album coming out. And the debate was going crazy. Yeah, it was like, you Atlanta motherfuckers, you know, they was going crazy. You guys killed somebody in the Bay, can't come back to the Bay, we gonna kill you, G. Like, yo, they was going crazy. So at the time, my ex-wife, at the time, she was my wife, but now she's my ex. She was pregnant with my last girl, and she called me. It was like a bad vibe. She felt the vibe. I felt the vibe too. She's like, you should come home. You know what I mean? The Bay's only 6 hours from Los Angeles. You know, somebody can roll over from there and try to get you guys because you guys is all over the headline. And, you know, we was headlining over in California. I told the manager, you know, we should leave. You know, we got a next tour coming up like in the next week and a half. I think it was September 2nd it was coming out. You know, let's leave. And he didn't want to leave. So we went to Los Angeles. We got to Los Angeles. We took the entourage, you know, everybody on the bus driver to get their sleep. He took them to the hotel. I was leaving to go to my room and sleep. And it was like, nah, Dre, let's go. He want to go eat, you know what I mean? So like I told you, I'm the main security. I got to go. We went to eat, I think, at Noble's restaurant. I'll never forget that night because I met will.i.am that night. There are other stars there, but I got to chop it up with will.i.am. And I was so tired because they had us up, you know, from the night before. They had us up all night, searching the buses, looking for clues, whatever. They didn't find nothing, so they let us go. So I went back in the truck to sleep, yo, like catch a little shut-eye, not sleep, but, you know what I mean? I need to catch a little shut-eye, like 10 minutes or something, like I was tired. And the manager came out, Stone came out, he knocked on the window. He was like, yo, get up. That's my boy, though. He always keep me ahead. You know what I mean? It's kind of like, you ever watch MacGyver? The guy right there, not MacGyver, Quantum Leap. Yeah, you ever watch that? And the dude always right there with him, type him like, yo. So like my guy Stone was like that. He always put me up in game. He came out, he knocked on the window. He's like, yo, Jeezy about to walk out in a little while. I'm like, what? Like, like I ain't know you finished eating so quick. He's like, we about to go to the club. So I was like, the club? Like, I was tired of hell. So we got out. And we went to the club. It was Chris Brown party, the VMA Awards after party. You know what I mean? A couple other stars was there. A lot of stars was there. But yeah, we headed to the party.
Do you remember who all was there when you get to the club?
Everybody was there. Everybody. R&B, you know what I mean?
Chris Brown. It was Chris Brown's party, right?
Yeah, Chris Brown was there. Yup, Chris Brown
Suge Knight was there.
Suge Knight. I seen Kevin Lohan, Westbrook. Everybody's there. It had a lot of people there. Game, it had a lot of people there because, it was a big party.
Okay. And you guys are in this party, and I take it everything looks pretty good at first?
Yeah, we was out there chilling. And then I seen Suge Knight coming to our direction. And I'm a spiritual person, so I move off of vibration. You know what I mean? And something wasn't right with him, like, coming. Suge Knight was coming, and the vibes was, like, wrong. Like, it was just wrong. And I was trying to tell Jeezy, like, I think we should move on the side. Like, you know what I mean? I don't know what's about to happen, but you could have feel, like, a bad vibes. I don't know if that ever happened to you. You get a bad vibes. You know what I mean? So I peep game. And as the situation was playing out, he was getting closer to us. And when he was getting closer to us, I was trying to push him down, like, to get out the way. Like, because, I'm just saying, Suge Knight, he just got a bad vibes, yo. And I felt a bad vibe. And I pushed my client down. But what Jeezy didn't know, his homeboy and his homeboy had a homeboy. So it was three of them.
Hold on. So shots start going off.
Yeah, I pushed down Jeezy out the way. As Suge Knight get close behind me, I push down Jeezy them out the way.
So you know what I mean? So somebody's coming after Suge Knight?
Like, I don't know what Suge Knight saw, but he was coming towards us. You know what I mean? But I'm telling my client, we need to move out the way because, like, you seen when he kind of changed route. You know what I mean? So it's like, I don't know what he was avoiding, but he was coming towards us. That's how I was pulling my client away. Like, yo, we need to get the fuck out of the way. You know what I mean? And, when I was getting him out of the way, he was kind of hesitant. He was drunk probably. Not probably, he was drunk. I was telling him, like, yo, we need to move. And he wasn't hearing me. And afterwards, I pushed him down and two other guys out of the way, and the first shot hit me in my hand, right here in my hand. The first shot hit me right here. Went up and cracked my wrist. You know what I mean? The shots is going off. Boom, 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 boom. Suge Knight. I think they hit Suge Knight like 7 shots. Like I told you, I've been shot before. So this is bullet 11. Been shot 10 times in the islands. This is bullet 11. So I'm not bleeding, I'm leaking. It's a difference when you're bleeding. You cool, everything's all right. But once you're bleeding, it's no good. But when you're leaking, you need to seek medical attention. So I'm leaking. So I'm holding my hand and I could see the blood flying up through my fingers. I'm leaking. I told Jeezy, let's go. But he was there on the floor. He was like, I don't know, playing dead like a mannequin, yo. Like, I walked off leaving. I was bleeding. I was like, yo, let's go. And he was on the ground laying down, and I walked off leaving. You know what I mean? I went outside, and
What'd Suge Knight look like at the time?
Before or after?
After.
Well, I couldn't see him. I didn't look backwards. You know what I mean? Yeah, I couldn't. You know what I mean? I just heard somebody on the ground and people were screaming, and then I turn around, the lights turn on. I'm bleeding. I don't think people catch on Suge Knight is ting, but my hand is squirting. It's dripping all over. You know what I mean? So I left the club to seek medical attention. I told my client, let's go. He on the ground, yo, I need to go. So I went outside. The manager ran into me stone. He's like, where's Jeezy? I'm like, Jeezy's inside. He's like, what you mean Jeezy's inside? I was like, yo, you see I got shot? I told him, let's go. And he's inside. So Jeezy them went, and this is when the stories start to get real weird, you know what I mean? This is when, you know, the shit begins. It already started the night before. But I'm talking with me and, you know, that bullshit he tried to do. So they got him, whatever may have you, took him to the hotel. Jeezy.
You go to the hospital?
Yeah, I went to the hospital and the manager came and seen me. So I'm in there waiting to see medical attention. Suge Knight is next to me. I could hear him. They hit him good because he was in there, you know, 7 shots. So I'm just saying he got them. He was in there, you know, moaning a little bit and shit because they f***ed him up. There's 7 shots. The manager came back in. He said Jeezy came to the hotel and he tried to say, Dread a pussy nigga. Dread ran, leave him. So I was like, what? You know what I mean? But he told him, the manager told me his homeboy, Westside Blue, got up and told him he's a lying mother. He said, Dread push us out the way. But what Jeezy they know, I push him, his homeboy Blue, and the next nigga, which is Blue's homeboy, I pushed 3 people out of the way when I got shot. But Jeezy they ain't know that. So Jeezy went back to the hotel and he tried to tell him in the hotel, you know, he tried to run off with a story. But, you know, Blue, I with him, he cool, but, you know, I felt he should have break me off some money. And you listening, Blue, you should have broke me a check. I push you out the way, and I push your homeboy out the way, and all 3 of them niggas got money, so it wouldn't have been nothing for them to break me some bread. So he G-checked thing. I wasn't there. I was in the hospital, but the manager Stone came back and told me. So I was like, all right, there's some friction already. How the fuck did this nigga go back to the hotel, try to tell people I ran leave him. I ain't ran leave you. I told you let's go. I got shot. You was playing dead on the ground like a mannequin. I left you. You know what I mean? You can't help me. The money can't help me. I gotta go seek medical attention. So we in a hospital and the cops was mean mugging me. It's like, the fuck is wrong with these cops? They were sheriffs. And they told the manager, you gotta come out. They came in, it was like, you gotta swap your hand for ballistics. So I was like, ballistics? What the fuck you mean ballistics? You see I got shot in my hand right here? What the fuck, I shot myself? So it was like, still, we need to do ballistics. So I let them do the ballistics. Wow, whatever. I went upstairs. They got me check in. So this is Sunday morning now. And I called Jeezy. I called the manager. And I was like, tell Jeezy come see me. The manager, like, hold on. He asked Jeezy. Jeezy disregarded coming to see me. You know what I mean? I wanted to talk to him about last night. You know what I mean? I belong in main security. You know what I mean? I got shot. Come and see me. Because maybe if I didn't push you out the way, you would have got shot. You know what I mean? So he disregarded. Jeezy said he was going to exercise. Jeezy said he was going to exercise and then he going to do the last show. That's Northern Georgia, where he was asking about. That's in not Georgia, it's California. That was the last show, the Sunday. So he disregarded me from coming to the hospital and they went to the venue. It was just messed up because I was the only bodyguard under, it had King though, you know, rest in peace King, he died. He was one of Jeezy bodyguard, he died. He was there and he passed away.
So wait, somebody died that night?
When I got shot, nah, King, I was just mentioning King, he was a bodyguard, but he passed away. Well, I'm just saying, like, in reference of the whole tour bus should have came and see me because I've been holding them down for 30 days. You know what I mean? I'm the only security. I'm just saying I got shot in my hand. So I felt they should have came and see me And a lot of things wouldn't have happened, just like what I'm about to tell you. So they went to the last show, and the DEA, whatever, from wherever county was there, the bus, the show waiting for them. So when they pulled up, they knew it was Jeezy bus. They ransacked it, whatever. And then I got a phone call in the hospital. They was like, Dread, everybody got locked up on the bus. They coming for you next. So I'm like, what you mean they coming for me next? You know what I mean? Because I'm in a hospital. What do you mean they coming for me next? I was, what you call it? But it was crazy because I asked him to come and see me. If Jeezy came and seen me, I would have asked him, where's the rest of my firearms? Are they on the bus? Hey, yo, you need to take them off because I'm not present. But he disregarded. I'm just saying, I just saved you last night. I could save you again. But he disregarded and he went to the other show. Even if he sent the bus ahead and he came to me in a limo, I would have saved him because he'd have been there. The bus would have got stopped. He wouldn't have been on the bus. But he disregarded and he went, I guess he was in his feelings because he tried to go to the hotel and talk that shit about me. That wasn't true, you know what I mean? So he couldn't ran, and he could have never, I'll just say this for the record, Jeezy could have never told me in my face that I ran leave him in the club.
Did Jeezy and Suge Knight have a conversation about that night?
Nah, he didn't even get to make it to us.
I think you said Jeezy told Suge something about that night?
Nah. Jeezy ain't had no conversation with Suge. One time we had a conversation with Suge, that was in Vegas. I think that's when it was All-Star Weekend in Vegas. And Suge Knight came over and I don't know what he said, but Jeezy told him, if you ain't talking about money, you ain't talking about nothing. And we all surrounded him and he walked off. So when I met Suge Knight, I always heard about him growing up. But when I actually met him, seen him, like he just got this energy with him. You know what I mean? So it's a person you look at, you know what I mean? You know, on the block, you know what I mean? Certain guys on the block, when they come around, you gotta watch them. You know what I mean? So Suge Knight, he gave me that type of vibe. So the whole tour bus got locked up.
Okay, so you're in the hospital.
Yup.
Jeezy hasn't came to see you yet, and they go to do this show.
Yup.
And when they do this show, they get caught with your AK.
My AK-47, yes.
Okay, and how do you hear about this, and what happens?
They called me. Somebody called me from Atlanta. And it was like Jeezy, and it was crazy because people in Atlanta was talking shit about me when they got locked up. Everybody wanted to know where I was, but nobody knew I was in a hospital until TMZ broke the story, I think the Monday or the Tuesday or something. So they called me from Atlanta and it was like, Dread, everybody got locked up on a tour bus. They coming to lock you up next. So I'm like, how is they gonna come lock me up next? I wasn't there. And then I Googled the law of California. If you're not present in a car with a gun, they can't lock you up. You know what I mean? So I Googled that from the hospital. So I was like, they coming to lock me up. Motherfuckers, if you came and seen me, ain't nobody that got locked up. You know what I mean? But sometimes people with money, you know what I mean? They get swell-headed, you know what I mean? And
so Jeezy goes to jail.
Yep.
Now, at what point do you get out of the hospital?
I think like 2 or 3 days. Like, no, I think like
days.
2 or 3 days or the next day or something. I forgot how it worked because I went home and they had to go court. When I not went home, this is when the shit even go more crazier.
Okay, hold on. So you get out of jail. You get out of the hospital. And Jeezy's still in jail in California at this time, right?
Yeah, because the judge, he was talking about making bail, all that shit. Nah, the label came to bail him. They wanted to get him out by himself. They ain't come to bail nobody else. He talking how I know. Stone got locked up, and Stone told me, the ins and outs of what happened inside the jail. So all that shit he talking, he had a selfish moment. He wasn't bailing nobody, and nobody wasn't going nowhere because the judge wanted ballistics from the gun. Because it was a rifle that killed the man in the bay. So they wanted ballistics from my firearm, and nobody was going nowhere. So they had court, and I don't remember. I think the day after I came out, after they got locked up, I think the next day I checked out of the hospital. I got the fuck out of the hospital because, shit was blown out of proportion. Remember I tell you the dude died Friday. The Saturday I got shot. Now they got, you know what I mean? It's like God is talking. You know what I mean? I see it. I don't know if they see it, but that shit went 1, 2, 3. So I get out
And
there.
nobody gets bailed out but Jeezy, because everybody on the bus got arrested, right?
Yeah, nobody, not even Jeezy. But the label came to bail Jeezy by himself. The label he ain't bailing nobody else. The label came to bail him alone. Let's put that out there, you know what I mean? And that's why I'm telling my story, because he keep like fashioning up the story to make him look like this terrific person, and he really ain't. You know what I mean?
Okay, now, what do you do when you get out? Do you hang out in L.A. or do you
I hang out in L.A. I got some homies from Inglewood. Shout out my niggas in Inglewood. You know what I mean? Old Bone, Lil Dirt, Big Dirt. They looked out for me. I went and stayed by the homie because they had a hotel. I checked out a hospital. They had a hotel. They locked up the whole tour bus. So I ain't even got no clothes. I had to check out in the same bloody pants, and I had to leave the hospital scrub with my hand in a sling because they're gone with the whole tour bus when they got locked up. So I got no clothes, no nothing. So they had a hotel next to a place by the airport where whenever stars come in, you could get trucks, cars, whatever may have you, whatever car you want, truck, Lamborghini, whatever. I felt like it was a hazard to me because I was injured, and the hotel is right there. And I didn't want nobody seeing me coming in and out the room, you know, because I'm shot. I'm not going to just sit down in a hotel bed. I'm somewhere else with it. I got shot. I'm in California. The whole tour bus got locked up, so I'll be inside and out. And I felt like it was a hazard staying there because, like I tell you, other stars come there. And I didn't want to risk anybody seeing me. We're in California. I'm from an island. It's small. This is big shit going on. The Bay is only 6 hours away. It's nothing for somebody to be like, yo, I seen Dredd. He by this room. So I was on a paranoia tip. One of the homies came for me from Inglewood, and he took me to his spot. It was in a condo. And I stayed there. I was secured. And the story gets even more interested. You know what I mean? I stayed there. I stayed up the night blogging when I went by my old boy house. I stayed up till like 7 in the morning blogging, looking at the internet. Internet is going crazy. Jeezy, we're going to kill you, your bodyguard, all type of crazy shit. You know what I mean? Over this shit in the Bay the Friday night. So they going crazy. California's going crazy. So I'm an island dude. I'm like, I'm tripping. So I stayed up the next morning. I was taking, I think, 800 Percocets because I got shot in my hand. The hospital, I didn't have no insurance. Jeezy didn't have no insurance. So they didn't want to work on my hand. So I was like, why are you holding me for then? Let me go. Let me get out of here. So I checked out of the hospital. Like I told you, when I stayed by my boy, I stayed up till the next morning and went to sleep. I took a Percocet and went to sleep. I was knocked out, not knowing that Jeezy them had to go court the next day. So I'm asleep. I woke up, had like 100 missed calls. Oh, we got into it, the people in Atlanta. Dredd, where you was? We've been calling you. I'm like, the you mean where I was? I got shot. I'm under medication. I was sleeping. You know what I mean? And, I had like 100 missed calls. It was like, they got to go court. So I gave them a location to come pick me up. Then we had to drive like, I think like an hour. And it was a weird moment because I called home to the family, my kids and mom. She's like, don't go. They're going to lock you up. I was like, but I got to go. It's my firearm. I got to go claim it. I called my family in the islands. It was like, don't go. You're going to get locked up. Call my uncle. Call my cousin. He a lawyer in New York. Don't go. I found a lawyer in California that's like, don't go. They're going to lock you up. But I have to go because it's my gun. So, I didn't want to go because I was shot in the hand. I don't go to jail with one hand. I need my 2 hands if I'm in jail. You know what I mean? Just any place in life. But, I went to the courthouse. The lawyer, they didn't keep you outside. It was weird. It was like high note, low note, because there's so much marshals. Every time you see a marshal, you think they coming for you. And then, they wasn't coming. And then the lawyer came back out. Event, I'm going to tell you, an incident happened in the jail, but I didn't know in California when it happened. I found out when I went back in Atlanta when it was in jail. So they came back out. It was like, good thing you ain't come to court, Dre, because it'll lock you up. The judge wants ballistics. So this is how I got informed about, the proceedings of what's going on. The judge was like, it's going to take a week or whatever they said. They want ballistics on the gun. So that was cleared up. So I had to wait probably like a week and a half or a week for them to come out of jail. So I had to stay out California. I stayed there because, like I told you, I got some people from Inglewood. You know what I mean? Nine Deuce, my guys, they looked out for me. You know what I mean? So I was out there. I had to wait till they come out.
Okay, and what and eventually Jeezy does get bailed out of jail. And what happens when Jeezy gets bailed out of jail?
Jeezy gets out of jail. They call me. I come to the hotel. I seen it in his eyes. He didn't feel the same about me anymore. Like, I seen it in his eyes. Yo, I seen it. I don't give a what nobody say, yo. I seen it in his eyes. And I came and, the Def Jam reps, them there. That's what I tell you. I know, the Def Jam reps, they come, Jeezy's out. I seen it in his eye, though. I know, like, what's going to be different. Because he's rich, and I'm just saying, rich people want to do what they want to do, and nobody can tell them, but God sit him down, and I'm the cause of it. He got locked up for my gun, so Dread, this mother, you know what I mean? I could see that look in his face. So I sit down, I talk to him. He like, Dread, when they say you're going to be back, I was like, they say 90 days, because I cracked my wrists. And then I talked to the doctor. When you crack your joints, that's it. You know what I mean? So my wrist is cracked for the rest of my life. You know what I mean? It's a lifetime injury I got in my hand. So I told him 90 days, you know what I mean? I'll be back out. But you feel a vibe. So it was like, they leaving tomorrow.
Jeezy takes off to Miami, right? And what do you do?
I didn't know at the time. His friend called me. But this is when I reached back Atlanta. But it was like, Dread, you got to ride a tour bus back. Because I had some more pistols still. Because like I told you, I walk with a lot of pistols. You know what I mean? You might got to regulate some shit. So I walk with a lot of pistols. I had to ride back the tour bus. I thought that was up. Because it takes 2 days to get back in a tour bus. It took us 4 days. The driver and his wife got locked up. These people never been to jail before. So they staring at me and shit. And it was an uncomfortable moment because everybody, they blaming me. But how could you blame me? And I'm shot. I'm in the hospital. So they looking at me like, ooh, you mother. You know what I mean? I'm just saying, they're not saying it, but I can see it in their faces. So they be driving. The driver's like, don't give his wife the phone. I was like, you mean don't give your wife a phone? Because they took everything from them. They took their phones, the camera guy cameras. I had an Xbox on the bus. They even took that shit too. You know what I mean? They took everything electronic. So we riding back. The wife came in the back crying. She's like, yo, I need to talk to my, remember, I'm shot. I'm trying to get home to my mother family. They could have put me in a plane and sent me. I got 2 little girls at the time, Tree, the one in my ex belly, my last daughter. So I'm trying to get home to see my family. I almost lost my life. You know what I mean? So the lady came in the back. She's like, can I use your phone? My husband won't let me use a phone. I want to talk to my kids. So I had compassion. Like, I want to see my kids. So I gave her the phone. Yo, you feel a bus, breaks up, press the button, she done throw the phone at me, whoop. Yo, they was back there arguing, yo. And I'm mad, because I'm like, yo, I'm shot. I want to go home. Why am I riding in a tour bus? And they took off. At the time, I didn't know where they was, so they took off on the plane. They gone. They reached wherever they is. I'm day 1.5. It took us 4 days to get back there. So we drive in, you know what I mean? I was up. I smoke weed sometimes because I got shot up a lot of times, so I got to calm my nerves sometimes. So the border was like 9 or 10 hours away. Dude was like, you can't smoke. I was like, what you mean I can't smoke? Like, he's applying pressure on me. He's mad at his situation. You know what I mean? All right, cool. I ain't smoke. So we reach, the bunks. I'm a big guy. I'm 6'4", 300 pounds. 6'4" I am. The bunks are cool, but I don't like sleeping in them. They're like coffins. Then I'm injured. I can't go in a coffin and lay down. I don't like the bunks. It had a main room in the back. That's for the store. So when we stopped, for them to rest, I was like, Jeezy gave you guys money for the hotel? They was like, nah. I was like, so where we sleeping? It was like on the bus. So I was like, can I get the room? Old boy was like, nah. He going back there with his wife. So I was like, all right. He opened the bus. The bus opens up for the living room. But believe it or not, it was crazy. I slept with my hand. I slept on my side, with my hand on top of my leg. You know what I mean? And it was a sad night. Cause I was like, how the fuck I got shot saving a millionaire? And I'm on a bus sleeping in my hand on my side. Like, the man, you know what I mean? So,
Damn, man, that's okay. So you're on this bus trip. Sounds like it's hell.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You've been shot. I'm sure you just want to get home and relax a little bit.
Hell yeah.
And you finally make it home.
I finally make it home.
And you're hanging out. Are you just getting better for a few months and then you eventually start going back to work?
I came back, the camera guy came and looked for me. And this is how I found out. And I came back, one of Jeezy homeboys. Matter of fact, before I left California, I went into Jeezy. I went in the hood where Jeezy big homie is, Big Toe. Shout out Big Toe. They keep me away from that nigga too. That's my nigga. You know what I mean? Big Toe, they keep me away from him. But Big Toe told me this is Jeezy's big homie. He said, Jeezy better take care of you for the rest of your life. I was like, huh? Because I didn't tell him what he said about the hospital. So I was like, huh? Just to hear him say it again. He's like, Jeezy better take care of you for the rest of his life. So I reached back. One of Jeezy boys called me. That's how I know I was in Miami. He's like, Dread, where you at? I'm like, I'm home. He's like, what you mean you home? He said, why Jeezy them in Miami and you home? So, friction again, bullshit. I was like, I don't know. His home, and this is his homeboy. I seen him the other day. He's like, why Jeezy's in Miami and you're, because the word is spreading. People here, I took a bullet, you know what I mean? The fuck, he's in Miami and you know what I mean? So it's bullshit. Excuse me. So the cameraman comes and see me. The cameraman was like, Dread, you heard what happened? I say, what? You know what I mean? Like, damn, more to the story? He's like, when he telling me about, because he got locked up too. It was the bus drivers, the camera guy, the manager. Jeezy is like 6, 7 of them got locked up. So the cameraman was like, Dread, yo, Jeezy and King, rest in peace. That's my nigga. You know what I mean? But he like, Jeezy and King was talking bad about you in jail. So I say, what? I grab his chair and sit down like, what the He was like, they thought I ran. When it was calling me and I wasn't answering, I was sleeping. They thought I ran. So they was talking shit. And the camera guy and Stone, shout out my nigga Stone defended my name. They was like, nah, Dread ain't ran. They was like, Dread got shot. Dread is sleeping. He's on the medication. And I actually was sleeping. You know what I mean? But he told me Jeezy was talking shit. You know what I mean? That's your man. He was telling my boy Stone, because Stone is from St. Croix. The Virgin Islands has 3 islands, St. Thomas, St. Croix, St. John. I'm from St. Thomas. Stone is from St. Croix. So Stone always keep me up in game. Or if somebody was bad talking me, Stone gonna speak on my name, like not Dread, because Stone know how we made from back in the Virgin Islands. So Stone's in there defending my name and the camera guy. Rest in peace to my boy King. I don't want to talk on him too much because he died. He's not here with us, you know what I mean? And I just want to remember the good about him because he still was my co-worker, in different tours and shit. But it was bad talking me, man. And the dude told me, so I started to understand the ill treatment. You know what I mean? He went to the hotel. He tried to talk shit about me. His friend checked him. I left on the bus. He went to Miami. He didn't want me there. And then he was talking about me in the jail. So I came back. I sat down. Me and my ex-wife, we got into it because I had the bullet in my hand for a month after. After I came from California, I had a bullet in my hand for a month. And I had my kids were small, you know what I mean? There was Right now they're 15, 14, and the last one is 8. Trinity, Faith, and Grace, my little sweetheart. This is why I go hard for my little babies. But so now they used to slap me in the hand, not for spite, but they kids, you know what I mean? They run up like, Dad, you know what I mean? And my hand used to swell up. So my ex was like, you need to go to the hospital. Me and her got in a heated conversation. I was like, nah. I was like, Jeezy gonna take me to the hospital. She's like, he's not gonna take you to the hospital. I was like, yo, that's Jeezy. What the fuck are you talking about? She's like, what is he waiting for? Airstrike? And that was actually for real. I had the bullet for like a month after in my hand. And then I had to go to McGrady Hospital. That's downtown Atlanta. It's a nice hospital, but it got the rich nigga hospital. I thought that's where I was going, or I was, you know what I mean? This is my, for taking a bullet. I went to Grady. I had to go and get on a program. It was sad, man. I was mad as because I had to go to the hospital and get on a program. And I'm like, why am I getting on a program to get a bullet out of my hand? I got by. I think I was making probably 1,000 less. So I got on. 1,000 over, I wouldn't have got on, but I got on. They took the bullet out of my hand. But I'm like, how do I get shot for $1 millionaire? And I got to go through a process. You know what I mean? I didn't have no insurance. He don't have no insurance. And she told me to sue him. But I was keeping the G code because this is Jeezy, the realest nigga in it. So the statute of limitation ran out. He had no workers' comp. He had no insurance. He had shit. You know what I mean? I was supposed to sue him, and I wish I did. And I didn't, you know what I mean? Because I thought he was going to keep it real. You know what I mean?
Did you ever sue the club?
Yeah, I sued the club. But it was up and down with the club, too. Because I had to fight the case from Atlanta. You know what I mean? One Oak nightclub. I sued them. They're full of shit. And my lawyer I had full of shit, too. You know what I mean? They got over me. You know what I mean? And, I'm not from here. I'm from the islands, so it was hard for me fighting a case from Atlanta in California, you know what I mean? And I'm saying, why am I going through this? Why Jeezy could have got me an A1 lawyer and I could have bleed the club, you know what I mean? But, I got some bread out of it, but the lawyer, they me over. You know what I mean? The club, all of them was in, working together, man. Some shit happened. When you sue a club, you sue everybody in the club. The club, we sued Chris Brown. We sued PM, some DJ girls, somebody else. We sued the club. We sued the security. But my one lawyer died. He chose out the case against Chris Brown. I never told him to do that. He did that on his own. They probably cut him a check for that shit. But he threw out the case and then he died. So when the time came out for the settlement or whatever, I was like, why Chris Brown name or why they're not paying out money too? It was your party. There's your lawyer dismissed the case. I was like, I never told him to do that. So that was some bullshit. I could have got a bigger check. So I sued the club. It took me a while to get that. Jeezy, usually gives out bonuses, bonus party. I think I came out Christmas time. They had a party for Wall Ready. And this is when my perspective of Rick Ross changed. And I had more respect for Rick Ross and Jeezy. Because Rick Ross and Jeezy was having a party, I popped up. I was looking for some other people handling some business, but I popped up. I see them. I went to the side because the club got some more people, everybody banging in my hand. My hand is up. I just got shot. You know what I mean? So I went to the exit to stand on the side. And when Rick Ross was leaving the club, Rick Ross grabbed my hand. Not no funny shit, but Rick Ross grabbed my hand and he shook my hand. And it was a star-studded moment because it's Rick Ross. Yes, we had an altercation before, but shit, you Rick Ross. And he told me, he's like, yo, I heard about that shit you did in California. That's some real nigga shit. And he shook my hand and he left, you know what I mean? And I just had a different perspective for Rick Ross after that because he didn't have to tell me that, but he did, you know what I mean? So,
He didn't ask for his chains back?
Nah, man, he's bypassed that. He a boss, man. That shit ain't nothing to him. That's water under the bridge for him. You know what I mean? But the vibes changed, you know what I mean? After that, I looked at him different, you know what I mean? Because he gave me, once again, recognition, you know what I mean? Even him heard what was going on, and he congratulated me, but I'm watching Jeezy no bonus, no raise, no compensation. You ain't pay for my hospital bill, no nothing. So it's like my works are like they like he on that goofy shit. I was trying to tell this goofy ass move out of the way. I got shot. You know what I mean? I'm just saying if there's a nigga realer than me, I like to meet him. Can I please shake his hand? You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I hear you, man, for sure, man. Well, I'm glad you and him, kind of squashed some things right there, man. Well, but you still continue working for him, man. At one point, T.I. and Jeezy have a party, and Gucci Man shows up and wants to do a song with Jeezy.
That was weird. That was like I think I forgot what weekend that was. That was but I can't speak too much in Guap, man, because Guap a good dude. You know what I mean? And it's weird because I'm working for Jeezy. I was just starting, so we seen Gucci Man, but you know what I mean? He was just there, you know what I mean? And nothing ain't happened. You know, I don't know what was behind of it, but it happened. So I can't really speak too much on it because when they started beefing, I wasn't working for him. You know what I mean? When I came around, I guess it was dying off, you know what I mean? The situation already happened and stuff. So I can't comment too much on that. But I tell you, Gucci a real nigga though. Because when I was working for Jeezy, I was getting paid $200 a day. And after I got shot, I'm thinking I'm gonna get a raise or bonus or something. I still was getting $200 a day. And then one night I worked for Gucci Man at the Swishes by the Buckhead Theater. I think it was a Swisher Sweet Store or something. Something like that. And I worked for him, I think like 3-4 hours I worked for Gucci Man, yo. Like I barely interacted with him, yo. They paid me $500. And I was like, that's crazy. How the they got Guap paying $500 and Jeezy paying $200. And that was more than Jeezy. Jeezy paying $200. I think he's still paying niggas $200 up to this day. And it's crazy. You know what I mean? These young niggas, they paying $500. And I mean, Guap, you know what I mean? Guap paid me $500. I worked 3.5 hours for him. You know what I mean?
Damn, was that your only time working for Gucci?
Yeah. I had other opportunities while I was out of town, with other clients. So that's what I came to after a while. After I got shot, I think I stayed with Jeezy like a year and a half, or I think a year. And then I resigned. I stopped coming to work, like, you know what I mean? Because, he just hired me on his set pay. I was on payroll and, like, yo, I don't give a what do you say? Like, I fucking put my life on the line, bro. I want my retribution. I want to be compensated. I want, you know what I mean? I'm just saying, he sells 1 million records. He got a platinum plaque. You get in the army, you get shoes. You'd be a Green Beret, a Purple Heart. You work in Walmart. They give you Employee of the Week. They put you up on a wall. We come in, the neighbors, whatever, we see you. We see you outside, we celebrate you. I seen you on the wall. You know what I mean? You might not do what I do, but your job is giving you recognition. So as a bodyguard, what do I get? You know what I mean? So this is why I'm telling this story, because he's telling this story in so much ways. And them other podcasters are so crazy because he's telling them his homeboy. I'm not his homeboy. I'm this bodyguard. At the time, I was his bodyguard. I ain't no homeboy. You know what I mean? But that's him finessing you guys. And then they so like getting caught up in the hype. They never asked him like, yo, I know you took care of old boy that took that bullet. Or where's old boy? Like, you know what I mean? Joe Borden too. You get at me. Could have been gave you this story. He came up on your show and wild you out. But if you had my story, you could have read him his rights. You know what I mean? What's up with that dread nigga that took that bullet for you that you know what I mean? You didn't take care of. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah, I hear you, man. That's, damn, okay. Yeah, that sucks, man, that things didn't work out good between you guys, man. It seems like you guys got off to a really good start, man, and unfortunately it ended bad, Well, during your time bodyguarding with Jeezy, man, did you ever run into Jay-Z?
Jay-Z? Yeah, a couple of times. Yeah, we been around Jay-Z, that nigga, you know what I mean? I ain't even gonna front. You know what I mean?
What was that like running into Jay-Z?
That was dope, you know what I mean? Jay-Z's just different. And then, like, you can tell because when the other rappers come around, they turn into kids when they go around Jay-Z. That's why I like being around Jay-Z, because you watch all of them turn into kids. I don't give a how hard the rappers think they are, they might appear to you. When they come around Hova, boy, they turn into little kids, little puppies, you know what I mean? But it'd be a dope scene because, you know, he's that nigga though, you know what I mean? So I catch the vibes. I ain't like clowning them, but I'm just saying they turn into kids when they get around them. So yeah, being around Hova is dope. Hova is different. He's really professional. He's really on another level. He's so much on another level. One time I seen him, they what they did. We came to a show in New York, and Jeezy came to the door and he ain't had it pass. And the people for the show told him, they say, "We know you're young Jeezy, but if you don't have your passes, you're not getting in." You know what I mean? So that's how I know Hova's shit was. They ain't even going that name shit. You know, some shows you pull up, oh, that's the artist. They let you in. Nah, them people told him. They say you ain't going nowhere unless you got your credentials. You know, we got them. We went inside. I sat down. I ate with them before. Jay-Z, Beyonce, you know, Blue Ivory. You know what I mean? I got up afterwards and went to the other table, but it was a moment, you know what I mean, to just be around, you know what I mean? The meccas of hip hop, you know what I mean? They're the top of the top. So, you know, to be around it and to be soaking up all this game, you know, is a blessing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man, that's pretty dope, man. You know, was there anything you learned being around Jay-Z?
Well, I was more around Jeezy, but Jay-Z, like, I wasn't around him that long. And he doesn't speak too much. He come around, he hails you up. He's just a different guy, but I wasn't around him that long enough. Like, you know what I mean? So we come around and we do things, but I wasn't around him long enough.
Oh, okay, okay. And now I seen that you knew Nipsey a little bit.
Yes, Nipsey was my boy. Nipsey, the thing about Nipsey and me, I met Nipsey with Jeezy. Jeezy was trying to sign him, and he was trying to sign YG at the same time. So that's how I came in contact with Nipsey Hussle. But I'm a Rastafarian, you know what I mean? And the king from Ethiopia, Haile Selassie, you know what I mean? That's our black king. Nipsey Hussle is from over there. He's actually from Eritrea, that's East Ethiopia. You know what I mean? The countries are kind of divided right now. That's something else we can get into next time. But the thing with Nipsey Hussle, he knew who I was before I knew who he was, and I'm talking on a spiritual. So that's what made me and his relationship like genuine. You know what I mean? Because he already knew who I was. I didn't know where he was from when I did my research, and I realized I looked up the flag because he had a Benz coupe. And he had the flag in the front. And I thought he was from the islands, like Trinidad or something. You know, he got that curly hair. But when I looked up the flag, it was Eritrea. It was East Ethiopia. So we were just cool. You know what I mean? He knows a Rastafarian. You know, we dig their culture over there. You know what I mean? So we was cool. Whenever we met, you know what I mean, it was magical. That last picture, I seen him after the award when he got into it with that guy, but we was at a label party. Matter of fact, I was at that party with Ace Boogie with the hoodie. And it was dope because Jay's like Nipsey Hussle was him and Laura London, they was like the new Jay-Z and Beyonce. You know what I mean? He had a bad chick in the game. His album was doing well. He did the Puma deal. You know, he was doing swell, man. You know what I mean? Actually, that's the first rapper I ever shed a tear for. You know what I mean? That's how bonded me and him was. You know what I mean? I just came off a tour with Moneybag, and I was in the shower, taking a shower, and it was like Nipsey Hussle's shot. So I stopped the shower, and I turned back on. I was like, my boy gonna pull through. And it was like he shot multiple times, and I stopped the shower, and I came out. Because I know he wasn't built like that. And when I say built like that, I'm not saying like, you know, his frame, he was not big. I'm 300 pounds, you know what I mean? Nipsey Hussle had to been like a $140, 140, 60 pounds, you know what I mean? But he was a slim guy. And like I told you, I've been shot 11 times, you know what I mean? And when I heard multiple times, I was like, damn, man, my guy might not make it. You know, just based on how his body structure was. You know what I mean? Not that I'm saying anything bad about him, but I want to be specific so people don't take what I'm saying in the wrong way. But and then they came back up. They came back on, yo, and it was like he's gone, yo, and just fucking like long tears run out my eye, yo. That's I was around when Pac died, Biggie died. My dude died, cried when Biggie. I was a Pac fan, but I never cried for a rapper. But Nipsey Hussle, we was different. The tears just started running out my eyes, man. Cause I was like, man, cause like that dude was on to something. He was gonna do a lot of big shit, and that was my boy. We talked. He was like, where you was? He ain't seen me in a while. Cause I stepped out of the game for like a year after that shit with Jeezy. And then I came back in the game. And London in the track. I jumped back on London in the track. Shout out London in the track. And then I was with Ace Boogie in the hoodie. So that's how I ended up to the label party. And he was asking me like, Dread, where you was? And I could hear him right now talking to me, yo. Cause I was telling him, I was like, yo, Jeezy didn't take care of me. And he's like, I did not know that, my nigga. Like, you know how California people talk, but he said it so thorough. I did not know that, my nigga. Like, but I can hear him right now, you know what I mean? And we talk, yo. I'll never forget, we talked for like 40 minutes, yo. That picture you see with him in that plaid shirt, and I got on the suit. That was a label party. You know what I mean? And my client was watching me like, not in no bad vibe, but he's like, yo, niggas with Dread. Like, yeah. You know what I mean? But RIP to Nipsey Hussle, man. You know what I mean? That was man, now a real one, man. That guy wasn't from around.
Man, I know. R.I.P. Nipsey, man. It was definitely a sad day, man. It was sad, man. It was
because
definitely a hard loss.
Them other rappers their mind are not set like his. That's why it hurt when he died. That's we got a champion. You know what I mean? Cheer that champion on. Like, nah, you don't kill the champion. Like, and like he was different. He was golden, yo. Ain't all these rappers golden. Look at my situation. I got shot, save a millionaire. Motherfucker do 6-figure shows and 50,000, 40,000 walkthroughs. You know what I mean? Jeezy could have break me a check. I'd have been working with him today if he broke me a check. You know what I mean? So that's why I heard. You know what I mean? I'm sure if I got shot for Gucci Mane, saving Gucci Mane, he'd have took care of me. You know what I mean? Or any other artist is. But I never understand because his manager, that African motherfucker, he always used to call me and be like, Dread, that's your job, and I don't know what you want Jeezy do for you. That's your job. You sign up for it. I was just be like, and so what? You could tell he got a battery in his back. He's a corporate guy talking about I signed up for it. You know that coming from Jeezy, that talk motivation bullshit. But like, yeah, it's my job, but where's the compensation? You know what I mean? Where's the thank you appreciate me? Because if you got shot, you probably would have died. And if he died, what would have happened? What happened when rappers died? When they die, I'm just saying, they sell like Pac. They sell like Tupac. They streaming, they downloading, you know what I mean? I'm just saying though, bro. You know what I mean? And I took that bullet, man. And
Yeah, man. Damn, man. That sucks you had to go through all that, man. That's it sounds rough, man. I wanted to ask you, do you know why Nipsey didn't sign to Jeezy? Do you know what happened with that situation by any chance?
I'm not sure. He probably won't talk in the right numbers. You know what I mean? That's me just putting, procrastinating. I'm not sure. You know what I mean? But it never worked out. We sit down and did a lot of meetings with Nipsey Hussle. Used to do a lot of them in New York. And I guess they couldn't come to agreement. I guess, you know what I mean? Jeezy wasn't, he wasn't cutting that check, I guess. You know what I mean? So,
Well, they had a lot of meetings about this, though.
Yeah. We used to link up a lot of times in New York, you know what I mean? I guess Nipsey had other businesses, but we used to go to dinner together, you know what I mean? Being around that shit so frequent, you become you start to learn the business, you know what I mean? And shout out to niggas that come around this business and in a few years, there's some part else in the business doing something different, you know what I mean? Because you're supposed to elevate, not remain the same. Like some of them try to talk to you like you should just be a bodyguard. Like, nah, nigga, I'm flying a plane with a pilot. You got to learn to fly that plane. You got to take in that knowledge. this wisdom. Like God brought you around this for a reason. So to remain just a bodyguard, that's cool, but not for me. I want it all. You know what I mean? I'm watching. You know what I mean? I'm just saying, I'm watching it for years. I see how it's done. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, I hear you, man. Definitely, man. Well, were you around when Jeezy signed YG?
Yep. I used to
How'd
actually,
that go?
that was dope. YG, my nigga, 400. YG, that's my boy. Shout out to that guy that died. What's his name? Slim 400. That was my guy too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
RIP Slim
yeah,
400,
that was
man.
sad, man. Yeah, that was sad. I watched that video, man. That was sad. Slim was a good dude. You know what I mean? But you gotta keep them antennas up, man. You can't be playing, cause that street life, you know what I mean? It's very dangerous. You're a strong dude, you know, he fought him off and shit, but you know, when them slugs run through you, man, they're gonna you up, you know what I mean? And like, you know, you gotta get medical attention, you know what I mean? He didn't get it in time, and them shots him up, man, you know what I mean? But it was sad. That's my boy.
Yeah.
But
Do you have any
my
stories
nigga,
hanging
I
out?
was there. Rich Homie Quan when they did that record. I was there. YG actually was staying in Atlanta for like a month and a half. So I used to drop him home. I used to take him home, drop him home. Make sure you get in his condo and stuff. And I used to be out with him. So we got a thing. When he come Atlanta, he calls me though. He sent Glove. Shout out Glove. That's my nigga too, you know what I mean? Glove is a good nigga. That's his bodyguard. But they call me when they come to Atlanta. So we still link up, even despite the situation with Jeezy. You know what I mean? We still link up because like my name is certified. Like niggas know, you know what I mean? Despite the Jeezy situation, you know what I mean? A lot of people know Jeezy's wrong, but it's never been put on a platform like what are we doing, like what we doing right now. So the world is gonna be able to hear my side of the story instead of just hearing his painted story, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I hear you, man. Definitely. Well, what do you want to get out about this, about bringing your story and telling it?
I just wanted to be told correctly, like, you know what I mean? Tell the story, like, you know what I mean? I did something noble, tell my story. Don't, you capitalize. Even when he came out of jail, he capitalized. He came with church in the streets. You know what I mean? Like some opportunist shit. He took advantage of the moment, capitalized off of it, like, yo, break me a check. Def Jam, break me a check. You was signed to Avion Liquor, yo, break me a check. Your client is still alive. The guy that helps your business running, whatever ties he have with you. You know what I mean? Cut me a check. Like, you know what I mean? And it wasn't done. It been a while. It's been like 9 years now since that situation happened, 2014. I'm just saying, you know what I mean? Like, I don't like the story he tells. And it's still an open invitation. We could sit down and talk, but you gotta cut me a check. I don't want my respect, yo. Fuck that shit. You know what I mean? I handle my shit like a G, yo, but I'm just saying, you know what I mean? Cut that check. You know what I mean? He ain't talking about nothing. Well, shut the fuck up, you know what I mean? But I'm just saying, yo, I earned that check. And I should be compensated for, a job well done. The islands is watching. My people is watching. You know what I mean? Why you must get recognition when you sell an album, but we bodyguards, we just like regular niggas. Like, nah. And to niggas that sit down for that shit, that's on you. I'm not made like that. So, you know what I mean? That's why I didn't stand for it. I came up out of it.
Yeah, man, I hear you. It's rough, man. You got shot. I don't know his side of the story, but it sure seems like you should be compensated at some point for it, man. But is there any other, wild bodyguarding stories, that you would like to share, while in the process of doing your job?
I don't know. It's so much of them. You know what I mean? I can't wrap my head around it right now, but I think that Rick Ross shit, I think
Is there any other big stars that you were hanging out with?
I did NBA Youngboy, I did Megan Thee Stallion, I did Moneybag Yo.
Did anything happen when you were hanging out with NBA Youngboy?
Yeah, he got into some shit one time in Jacksonville, I think. No, we was in Orlando. But it was weird because for some reason he didn't like my vibe. I didn't like his vibe neither. You know what I mean? F that nigga. I didn't like his vibe. And what that dude name is from Jacksonville, Fulio or some shit. But they was like, yo, they got me a ticket. You know, dude don't like my vibe. I was like, you mean you don't like my vibe? I work for all the gangster rappers in the industry. But I told him I've never worked for a kid before. You know what I mean? So that, you know what I mean? I know what the I do. And I think that dude, the big dress, Fulio or some shit, I remember him. They came to the hotel. I guess they came to get an NBA Youngboy, but I wasn't working for him anymore. They told me, you know, I had a flight in the morning, so I canceled it. I was like, F it. I wait down to catch a lift to go to the airport. My flight was like the first thing in the morning. So think what you call it. Yeah, there's some shit happened, and then I had weird little moments, so but I don't remember all of them. I got like brainstorm, but that was like, you know, the shit when I got shot though. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay. So it didn't really work out with you and NBA Youngboy. That's
Nah,
crazy.
we went like 3 days. Nah, I don't got time for that bullshit, man. They kids, yo. I ain't got time for that shit. You know what I mean? I'm just saying, I'm about my business. I ain't got no time to be playing no little boy games. I'm not a boy. You know what I mean? I'm not a child. So that's how that went. Drake Kirkpatrick, Cincinnati Bengals. I forgot that dude named 99. I think he played for the Phoenix Suns. He was playing for Miami. I worked for him. Shout out my guy Joe, got a guy out of Philadelphia. Real smooth dude. I love him. Cause he got rapper money, but he's just a good dude. He don't do all that extra shit rappers did. Do, you know what I mean? Moneybag, yo.
Okay. We gotta wrap it up real quick, bro. But I just have one more quick question, man. Jeezy dissed you on a recent song he did with ETSG.
Yeah,
How you
everybody
feel
was
about that?
calling me about that. It was a little jab, I think, cause you know, I mess with the music and what you call it? He I think he said he bald head no Samson, cause that's what I call myself, Samson Dread. This is actually my logo I'm wearing. My dad's face, Shot of Youth Music. This is my brand right here. Everybody know this face right here in the islands. Certified G. You know what I mean? But yeah, they was saying a lot of people call me on it. You know what I mean? I dropped something for that too. I got a record out named Like Me. You know what I mean? I shot back at him. But you know, that's something I do in my spare time though. I don't mix like, you know, I want people to know I don't mix my music, what I do with my business. When I come to work, it's straight business. You know what I mean? When I go home, you know what I mean? I take my money, I pay my studio, I go do my shit. But I don't mix it. So it's never a situation like, oh, you know, he just mad. Nobody like, nah. I'm never like, nah. You know what I mean? I handle my business. When it's time to work, I work. That's why I'm good at what I do. My latest client, I think last week Saturday was on Big Sexy. That girl for Pound Town. Yeah, I had her.
Yeah.
I had her the other day. So, you know, clients still call me. You know what I mean? Jeezy ain't changing no type of temperature. You know what I mean? Because what I do goes down in the books. Whether he likes it or not or talks about it. It goes on in the book. The streets know what's going on. I'm just a different type of bodyguard. I'm the guy that get the job done. I have the experience, and I came from the streets. You know what I mean? Military guys is cool, but, you know, the streets is different, though. You know what I mean? The streets is very different. But that's what it is.
Well, that's what it is, Dread, man. Dope interview. You know, your history in hip hop, man. The things you've been through, man, is definitely dope, man. I really enjoyed your story.
Nah, I appreciate that, man, because you need to be told, man. Other podcasts is you listening, you know, tap in. You know what I mean? 50 cents. You making movies. Oh, I got stories for you, though. But
The 3 days sounds like a movie right there, man. Them 3 days from hell.
Yeah, I'm telling you, man. You know what I mean? I was thinking of 3 nights. You know what I mean? Because that shit happened Friday, Saturday, Sunday. You know what I mean? You know, people still talking about Tupac's story and they remaking it like this. Shit involves Suge Knight and shit, and you know what I mean? If I could do something with it, let's do it. You know what I mean? Because it's part of hip hop. It involved rappers, and you know what I mean? It was a moment in hip hop. You know what I mean? Wherever anybody try to look at the kids, Suge, you know, free Suge. You know what I mean? You know, free the kids. I had Tugger too. I had a lot of clients. I didn't get to name all of them. I work for Tugger too. You know, Tugger, keep your head up. You know what I mean? Keep your head up, bro. Keep your faith in God, you know what I mean? Keep your head up.
Well, that's what it is, man. Dread, once again, bro, I appreciate you.
Nah, my respect, Cam Capone, you already know. Anytime, bro. You ready for me again, let me know.
Definitely, bro. I will for sure, man. All right, bro.
All right, respect.